As you can tell, I am Russian. My real name is Roshko Moroshko Romosko Rosko, but you can just call me Jeff. Now, I know why you're laughing. You're like, this fat guy ain't Russian. But I can assure you that I am. Every morning when I get up, I'm rushing to the bathroom. Then I'm rushing to get something to eat. And then I'm rushing out the door to work. I got other Russians, all right. I'm also part Jewish. 23andMe, Vince. I'm also a proud disabled combat vet. Go Army. Yeah. Now, the one thing about being a disabled vet that's not fun is dealing with PTSD. Now, of course, my wife tells me that it can be taken care of by simply taking some PMS pills, a heating pad, and a 5-hour nap. Now, one of the questions I get a lot when I go to the VA is they want to say, Mr. Cline, can you please help us identify some of your triggers? Triggers? I got to fight through all the crowd, fight for a parking place, come and get pricked, prodded, and probed, and then I have to prove to you that I'm even in the military? The VA's a trigger, lady. Come on. Here's another trigger. The fear of walking on grass. It's an Army rule, but we all have those areas at either our work or our church that people cut through. Not me. I avoid it like a mean drill sergeant, but I'm running late. So I jump up on the grass, and immediately this panic and this fear overcomes me. I'm like, ah! No one got to see that drill sergeant. But there's always that one guy that has to be faster than everybody else. So he comes running by, and he's like, morning! And I scream like a wild banshee. I jump out of my skin, and he stops, and he looks at me. He says, Army, right? Here's another trigger. The fear of the dark. Didn't know I had it till one day I'm at the church and I got to use the bathroom. So I'm in the stall, sitting down, taking my time, and all of a sudden the lights go out. So I scream like a little baby. I jump up with the trash bags on my feet and my pants down to my knees. I'm screaming. I fall out. I land on the floor, and just then the light comes on, and the usher looks at me and says, Army, right? Here's another trigger. Got to finish my food in 4 minutes. That was a main rule in basic training. So it's date night, no kids, just me and my wife at a nice fancy restaurant like Shoney's. Yeah, you've been there. And the food comes, and I'm like a fat little pig getting his slop, and that trigger kicks in. So I bury my head and I'm eating. I'm licking my plate and I'm sucking my fork. Next thing you know, when I lift up my little snout, the whole restaurant's looking at me. And the guy next to me says, Army, right? Maybe that's why I'm fat. And I'm telling you, being fat ain't any fun. I mean, honestly, why is it when you're fat and you tie your shoes that the knot's off to the side? I see you looking, sis. I'm telling you, man. Honestly, I have not seen my shoes or my feet in probably 3 to 5 years. And I get out of breath just trying to tie my shoes. I'm kind of like one of those Florida palm trees in the middle of a hurricane. I'm like, down. And then when I get down, I realize that there's slip-ons. I'm telling you, being fat, you got issues. Fat boy issues. Just trying to take your shirt off. I'm telling you, it's like a battle I'm never going to win. It's like somewhere between my belly button and my neck. It's like, no, 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 not today, fat guy. So, I'm trying to take it off and be all nice and getting in here. And I'm pulling and I'm twisting and I'm pulling and I'm twisting and I'm fighting. And all of a sudden, it's stuck up over my head. And I'm screaming like Marcus the Marine. Ah! 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 And then in steps my wife, pulls down the shirt and says, Army, right? I'm telling you, people tell me, they say, man, Jeff, he said, you're a little different. You don't think right or act right. And I agree. I blame a lot that on the Army and their meds. I get confused sometimes. So like the other day, I get up and I get my preparation H, confused with my toothpaste. Yeah, now my tonsils are no longer swollen, but every time I toot, it smells nice and minty. Here's another example. You got the same toothpaste? I got pulled over by the police officer. He comes up to the window and he says, "Name, please." "George Washington." "Mr. Washington?" "Yes." "George Washington. George Washington, can I see 2 forms of ID?" "Yes, sir." So I give him $1.25. It was probably the first night that George Washington had ever spent in the back of a police vehicle. Here's another thing I like to do. I like to go into Dollar Tree where everything's $1. And as I'm checking out, I begin to ask the lady how much everything is. "Excuse me, ma'am, how much is this?"
That's $1, sir.
"Okay, thank you." "Ma'am, how much is this?"
That's $1, sir.
Okay, thank you." Then I've got one of those 2 for $1 items. I only got one. And so I ask her, "Ma'am, how much is this?" She looks at the item. She looks up at me and she says, "Navy, right?" Hey, thank you. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, thank you. I'm Fat Jeff. That's my time. Thank you for supporting ASAP.